everybody, and welcome to my review of Cold Pursuit, a new movie starring Liam Neeson. But before I get into this review, I just want to say a really big thank you to Billsy and the team from Radio Metro 105.7 for putting on the screening last night and inviting me along. So go right ahead and show some appreciation right back, lock those dials into 105.7 and enjoy some great music, some witty banter from the team, and just good times. Now, going into this movie, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know what it was about. I hadn't seen a trailer. All I knew was that it was, well, it looked like an action movie from the poster, had Liam Neeson in it. Yeah, why not? But before we went in, I went with my buddy Justin, aka Jay the Bald Guy, and yeah, I said to him, you know, what are the chances this movie's going to be about a guy with a particular set of skills who loses a family member, he's got to go after revenge, and he bumps off the bad guys one by one, except this time it's in the cold. And so Justin had a look at the IMDb synopsis, and yeah, that's pretty much what the movie's about. I actually called the plot without even seeing a trailer. But I figured, look, you know, if this is a generic Liam Neeson revenge action movie, you know, why not? They're fun to watch. So, yeah, we went in expecting that. And, that's not what we got. Now, I do want to point out, this movie has got quite a bit of critical acclaim behind it. It's on like 85, I think, or something on Rotten Tomatoes. You know, the critics seem to be really digging this movie. I'm not one of them. I really hated this film. So look, everything I'm about to say, this is all my opinion only, okay? So look, you know, you guys, you might enjoy it, I don't know, but I'm gonna give you my take on what we saw, and yeah, you might be able to use it to make your mind up. So Cold Pursuit is a remake of a film by a Norwegian director named Hans Petter Molland, and he's come back to to remake his own film. This is the US version of the film. So like I said, it stars Liam Neeson. This time around, he's not like an ex-Secret Service hitman assassin guy or anything like that. This time around, his unique set of skills is driving a snowplow. We have Laura Dern, who plays his wife, and yeah, together with their son, they live out in this small town outside of Denver, I think it was. And one day his son is murdered. No, it's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer. Yeah, so his son is murdered. He's got to figure out who it was. He finds out that his son was involved in this drug thing or whatever, and yeah, so he's got to go after the bad guys. In the meantime, there's a group of American Indians who are also involved in the drug trade, and there's like a turf war that happens, and yeah, that's it. So one of the things with this film, it's not an action movie at all. There is no action in this movie, really. The trailer, the way it's cut with like a lot of fast cuts and stuff, it's designed to look like an action movie, but believe me, it is not. There was, you know, there's a few gunfights and things, but nothing that I'd really call an action sequence. Like, Liam Neeson doesn't get involved in any kind of real hand-to-hand fight stuff or whatever. He does beat the crap out of a few dudes, but they don't really put any resistance up. But the movie did this thing where it was trying really hard to be a dark comedy sort of a film, in the vein of like Elmore Leonard stuff, or to a lesser degree Tarantino, but it was trying to be this dark comedy film, and it just didn't work. This film, the tone was completely unbalanced from start to finish. Rather than this kind of dark comedy, crime drama or whatever, it came across as this entity that didn't know what it wanted to be. It just felt too disjointed in its tone. Aside from that, the editing I thought was terrible. There were so many scenes that just didn't flow into the last one, or there was no sort of fluidity through it. You just sort of dumped into the next scene with a bunch of characters that you don't know who they are, and you're kind of like, okay? I mean, it is explained who they are, but yeah, it just felt jarring in a lot of places. I thought the dialogue was kind of terrible. There was a couple of times I actually turned to Justin and said, you know, really, was this film written by a 12-year-old? Some of the jokes were just really immature, and just a lot of them weren't that well executed. Although the performances all around were just phoned in. There was one guy in particular, Tom Bateman, who played the main bad guy in the film. What was his name? Trevor something. His nickname was Viking. All the bad guys have stupid nicknames. He ranged from extreme overacting to really underwhelming temper tantrums. Yeah, he was not convincing at all. It was actually, his performance was almost comedic, but it wasn't meant to be. There were these two police characters, one played by Emmy Rossum and another one played by some guy. And honestly, like, if you see this film, think about the film if those characters had been just completely erased from the script. It wouldn't have made any difference whatsoever. They could have been completely removed, their whole subplot, and it wouldn't have made a difference. There were a whole bunch of subplots that either went nowhere or just didn't affect the story. Like at one point we find out that two of the main bad guys' henchmen are gay lovers. And like there's this one scene where it's revealed and it's like, okay, why? Like seriously, it went nowhere. It was there for no reason whatsoever. There was so many things in this movie that were just there for no reason. So many scenes of dialogue that didn't enhance the story, that didn't further the plot, that didn't tell you anything about the characters. They were just there for filler. By the end of the movie, we're left with a whole bunch of subplots and plot threads that are left unresolved, and not in that kind of way that it's like, well, okay, you know, this is up to the audience to figure out what happened or whatever. No, they were just unresolved and in a bad kind of way. Like, one main character, I'm not going to say who because I don't want to give any spoilers away, but there's a main character in the film that just suddenly leaves halfway through, and you'd never hear from this person again, and there's just nothing happens from it. They just leave. It's like, it was unbelievable. I mean, this film goes for just under 2 hours, and oh man, it was really painful to sit through. I'm not gonna lie, I could have walked out of this thing easily. It was so boring. The original version of this film only came out in 2014. It was only a few years ago, and I'd kind of like to see that version. I've got a feeling I reckon that one would be a far better version of this story. So look, like I said, overall, this movie just had nothing to it. Like, you've got a whole bunch of bland characters that you don't care about, boring cinematography where it should have been great out in this snowy environment, really bad editing, terrible direction, horrible performances, and a tone that just doesn't know what it wants to be. I mean, if you put this film in a video store, you'd be really hard pressed to figure out which category it belongs to, because it wanted to be a comedy, but it wasn't. Wanted to be an action movie, but it wasn't. It's not really a thriller. I guess a drama, maybe? But overall, honestly, I couldn't think of one single thing that I would actually give this film credit for. I'm not kidding. It was that bad. And again, I know that there are a lot of critics who are loving this film, and that's totally fine, but look, for me, I just wanted to get the hell out of the cinema. I don't ever want to see this film again. I can already feel my brain is just taking away all the memories of that film that I had. I can actually physically feel it. And as a result, I've got to give Cold Pursuit a 0 out of 10. And that is not something I saw happening. You know, I honestly expected if it was going to be a generic Liam Neeson kick-ass revenge film, you know, look, maybe it might get a 5, just an average film, but there was just nothing I liked about this movie. So I'm going to throw it over to you guys now, because I have not seen a single review of this movie yet, and look, I'm probably going to be the only one who hated it that much, but I'm fine with that. But what did you guys think of Cold Pursuit? If you've seen the film, drop me a comment down below, or if you've seen the original version of this film, which the name I forget, I think it was In Order of Disappearance. Let me know which version you thought was better, because yeah, I will definitely see the original, to see if it was an improvement on this one. And stay tuned to my channel, because coming up I've got reviews for Alita Battle Angel, seeing an advanced screening of it this weekend. Got Happy Death Day to You coming up next week. I've also got a screener for a film called Arctic with Mads Mikkelsen, which, yeah, looks quite interesting, so I'll probably do a review of that one soon. And I'm also several months behind doing a Blu-ray update. But the reason being, I just haven't actually bought that many movies. I've only got like half a dozen movies or so that I've actually bought. So yeah, we'll do another update down the track when I've got enough movies to show off. But that's it for this review. So like I said, if you've seen Cold Pursuit, let me know what you thought of it. Drop me some comments either here, Facebook, or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.